Hi and welcome to India Says News and Views channels. Here with me Bhalla live at the Manchester United Soccer Clinic sponsored by Epson. I'm about to have a very special guest on today, none other than legendary Manchester United defender Denis Irwin. And we are about to get things started today, people. How have you actually liked your stay in Singapore so far?
Well, I've been here before, so I know how nice it is. I mean, it has changed in 10 years. I cannot believe how many Manchester United fans are here. I think it's 1.15.
Yes.
That's nearly a quarter of the population, isn't it? Now, the reception we've had has been great. You know, we had a fantastic event. I got to say that Epson's putting a lot into the local community. We do an awful lot of Manchester United back in our local community with youth teams, kids, underprivileged kids, disadvantaged kids. So it's great that we're down here with Epsom. But the receptions we've had everywhere have been fantastic.
You've won some major titles. You've even come to the Champions League, and you were with probably the team that actually defined Manchester United as one of the legendary teams that it is now. What would you say was your best moment in football?
You know, I was there 12 years and won some amazing trophies. You know, 7 Premier League titles, and beating the mighty Barcelona, who went on to win the European Cup the following year, and they were big favourites to beat us. That was really good for me. But obviously 99 I think was special for anybody who was involved in that. You know, to be part of a treble, winning it in everything in the last 10 days, beating Spurs at home, needed to beat them at home in the final league game of the season at Old Trafford. You know, beating Newcastle down at Wembley, and then of course beating Bayern Munich over in Barcelona in the new camp in the final, and the way we done it as well. No English team has ever won it, a treble like that, and whether it happens again, I'm not so sure. Needed a bit of lady luck on the way in that.
I was following you in the earlier part when I really started to get into football. You were one of the icons for me, alongside with Alan Shearer and anybody else at that time. But I've always found that when Manchester was coming up to that superstardom, you were somewhat of an anomaly, because I never really saw you take too much to the limelight. How did you manage to avoid all of that pressure from the media, you know, with a team that was literally bringing itself out to new levels in football terms around the world? Well,
you get different personalities in the dressing room. I was a quiet one, went about my business. Fullbacks don't normally hog the limelight anyway. It's normally the strikers who are, as they say, drive the fastest cars. They're the ones where most of the pressure is on. They have to produce and score goals. So for me, it wasn't a problem. The media hype wasn't as big as it is now. Paul Scholes is an example. He'd rather go about his job, do his job as good as he can, and go home and stay out of the public eye. It's just the way he is. It's his personality. I know I had 12 great years down at Manchester United where the team spirit was the best I've ever known, and I know it's the same nowadays, and it does an awful lot in grouping yourself together and winning trophies and that. So you'd have different personalities in the dressing room. I was one of the quieter ones.
Right, fair enough. And you know, from your professional point of view, what do you think Singapore needs to do in terms of trying to get itself up in the echelons with Japan, South Korea? Because, you know, we are a predominantly small country, even though football is probably our #1 sport. What would you think needs to be changed? Because I don't know if you've noticed, but you've seen the national team is mostly derived of a lot of foreigners as well who have come in, because, you know, we are looking for talent to try and develop the game in Singapore. So from your personal point of view, from a professional, what would you think needs to be done over this short period?
I gotta say, I'm not really up to date with Singaporean football. You need young lads playing football all the time, and you need the coaches there to progress, and as they get older and go into their teens and obviously get older, you need good coaches all the way along. You need a good structure, good grassroots football. I honestly don't know if that's here, if that's in place.
Just to wrap things up a little bit, so last question, this is more for the United fans. Yeah. Have you ever found yourself on the receiving end of the hairdryer treatment that we've heard so much about?
Yes, I think we've all received that. I think Mark Hughes has gone on record and saying the only player he didn't see get the hairdryer treatment was Eric, because Eric. Well, that's one of the things about management looking after players. I think the manager obviously deals with personalities. He knows when to look after players. It doesn't happen as often as what people think. You know, I think if it did, it wouldn't have the same effect. It's just when you drop your standards, the manager will remind you of it. But it doesn't bear any grudges. You know, when it's gone, and you move on from there. The manager's, of course, looking for a reaction on the back of that.
Thank you. And to finish off, I'd like to also direct a couple of questions to Epson as well. Thank you again for bringing down the stars to Singapore, because like I was saying earlier on, we don't really get the opportunity to really talk and get ideas and information from some of these professionals. So, you know, with this football academy that you're doing, what are you hoping to achieve for, not just for the kids, but for football in general in Singapore?
One common philosophy that we share with Manchester United is developing the youth, bringing them up to managerial level. You know, to extend our partnership with Man United to the youth of Singapore, we hope to send a very strong message into the community.
And finally, for the both of you, predictions for Monday night's clash. What do you reckon, sir?
I mean, looking at the strengths of both teams, I think a draw would be a fair result to me, for me at least.
And for you, Dennis?
Well, Manchester United fans would take the draw now. There'll be goals in it. I think that the history of the last few games against City and the way the Premier League's been this year, and when top teams have played each other, I think there'll be goals in it. And whatever you're going to get a really unbelievable last half an hour, because at some point in the game, whether Manchester City have to try win the game or Manchester United have to try, if they're behind, try and get a draw, you know, you're going to have to push. So that, you know, I can't see this ending up 0-0.
Thank you so much again for giving us this opportunity to have a word. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And there we have it, folks. Manchester United legend Denis Irwin here, one-on-one with me, Bhalla, reporting for India Say News and Views. Join us again next time.